Blessings, beloveds. This is Shauna Ava, and you are listening to Heart on Radio. If you're new to the show, thank you so much for tuning in. We're excited to have you. And those of you who are regularly with us, welcome back. This is a show that was really created for all of us to come together and share information during this really profound and exciting time on the planet. And we just hope to be here to offer some support, some guidance, to share notes on what we're experiencing during this magical but very intense time, when our souls are awakening and expanding, and we are doing this individually as well as collectively and on a planetary scale. So I'm just really honored to share this space with you, and I really appreciate each of you for bringing your light and your presence and sharing this sacred space with me today. I am really excited about today's episode. We've got someone that I have been following and listening to. Her guidance is absolutely cherished in my world. She's helped me so much, and her name is McCord, and she really does conscious soul growth guidance. I'd say that's a great way to wrap it all up. But she's an astrologer, an author, a mentor, a teacher, a way shower. I mean, just all of these wonderful things and more. So I'm really excited to speak with her today. We're gonna discuss a bit about the Aquarian Age, which is what we've just sort of started stepping into here. And it's really, the more we go into this Aquarian Age, the more that we are feeling these energies. And we'll learn a bit today, a bit more about what that looks like and how to take advantage and make the most of these energies. And just to give you a little bit more about Molly McCord, she is a best-selling indie author of 12 books, an intuitive business coach, professional intuitive astrologer, a radio show host, and modern conscious teacher. With 25 years of sales, marketing, business development, and leadership experience, Molly aims to support more entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, healers, and authors build their dream business in practical, solid ways on her new business platform website. So she's got a lot going on. And she's also a mama. So my gosh, I'm so excited to have Molly here today with us and to dive into this topic, because I do feel astrology is going to be more and more a really important tool to understand and utilize as we step into these higher frequencies and this more fifth dimensional energy. So Molly, thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the show today.
Thank you for having me, Shauna. I'm so excited to speak with you and connect with your listeners.
Astrology has been a big part of my life and my awakening journey. One of the first areas of interest. So again, I just want to give some love and shout out to the work that you do here, because I feel like it gives astrology is like a roadmap to your own personal soul fingerprint. Is that a good way to put it? And it can be such a useful tool. And as we step further into this awakening and this Aquarian Age, I think it's going to be more and more important to really have an understanding of your astrological influences and the transits, etc. So really excited about astrology, and I wonder if you have anything. I know it sounds like that it was a similar situation for you, where it helped you along your journey. Can you speak to that just a bit?
Oh, absolutely. So one of the ways that I interpret astrology as a tool for us to use with our energies, our gifts, and our life is that when we really hone in on our energy imprint in a natal chart, things start to click in a way that you didn't realize. You kind of move off of autopilot and step into your own self-guiding mechanism. You understand more about who you are, what you're here to do, where your energy will naturally thrive, where you'll feel drawn to certain things that maybe you thought, oh, I shouldn't do that, or oh, that doesn't make sense, that's not logical. But the astrology chart shows you more of what you embody and what your gifts are, where your energy will really feel at home. So as we each become familiar with our natal astrology charts, then we really lock in to more of who we are, and we step into a whole new flow. And I find that that's one of the coolest things about astrology for awakening, is that you move out of the 3D, you step into the 5D, because you step into yourself, you step into all of your energy, and then you have all these new things to maybe question or figure out or make choices about, but at least you understand more about your energy. So astrology is just a really cool thing for us to understand individually. I think it is something that it's like self-validating in a way that you are the only one who can know what's true for you. So when you learn about astrology or you learn about your chart, then you can self-verify. You self-verify that, yes, this is true for me. Yes, this makes sense in my life. And that's where it's always empowering too. So it really opens us up to some really cool potentials and possibilities.
Yes, I totally agree with that. And I'll be honest in saying, I think mine started out in my early teenage years, and it was, I would check all my, crushes and boyfriend interests. And it helped me also even understand other people, but really it was an understanding of myself. And I just feel more and more called to it. It's funny. It's like, we kind of go through these phases in our lives, and I was always attracted to astrology. And then I put it down for a little bit. I think it got kind of complicated once you go into the trines. And
it's complex.
It
really
is
complex.
very, yes. That's why I really appreciate, I think you do such a phenomenal job of explaining something very complex and putting it into simple terms that anyone can really start to learn and navigate with. So I really honor you with that, but I feel it calling me again. And there's just this, to me, it feels it's going to be more and more an important tool as we move forward into these newer, greater energies.
Yes.
So with that, I wanted to discuss a little bit about this Aquarian Age. And I know it's something we hear a lot. And I'm curious if you could explain kind of what that is, and then what were we in before Aquarian Age? What are we coming out of?
Awesome question. Great question. So the age of Aquarius is about the Earth moving through the different constellations in the sky, and the Earth is now in the energy of Aquarius. It stays in every age for a little over 2,000 years, and we were previously in Pisces. So with this, we're moving. It's basically a retrograde energy where the Earth is moving backwards through the different zodiac constellations. And we were in the Pisces age, which these are hard to pinpoint exact dates on because it's such a big time span, but you could say basically 0 BC to the year 2000-ish is when the Piscean age was strongest. And so this was the rise of Christianity, the rise of religion, the rise of more energies on the planet that maybe weren't always clear. Pisces is very creative, it's very fluid, it's very intuitive. You don't always see everything, and it's a sense of what's out there. It's a strong healing energy. It's a psychic energy. So it was kind of like all these questions and all these things were transpiring. And then the age of Aquarius, which we're basically just beginning, is a time of the technology, scientific development, new ways of understanding our world, what computes. And it's about bringing us together, because Aquarius is about community. It's about both the individual and community. So it's looking at who do we know in our world that we want to connect with. It's the soul tribes, right? There's this huge thing about soul tribes. The internet is Aquarian. It's how we connect to each other in a way that is advanced and advancing. And so the age of Aquarius is basically just beginning, but it will be in effect for the next 2,000 years or so.
Wow. That's, did we start that about 2012, if you had to kind of guesstimate?
I think that feels right, just, at an intuitive level, because of how that syncs up with some other big energy shifts that were happening, other big cycles. So I think that it really came in strongest. I know that there were some eclipses happening that also kind of brought in more of the Aquarian energies. So it's kind of a slow moving thing where like a wave, right? Like a wave that comes in and it doesn't have an exact start date. But yes, definitely 2012 was an initiation of a lot more energies on the planet.
Okay, beautiful. And, I'm so glad that you said that it was like we're sort of in a retrograde, because I thought we were coming out of Pisces, but yet I'm like, that's the opposite way.
Right.
So I was a little confused on that. And also with the Pisces energy, I love the examples you gave, but I'm wondering, were we in a more shadow expression of that, or was that perhaps the placement of where we were in the galaxy? Because it felt a little, Pisces to me are more of an ascended energy. They can also be escape artists and sort of go into fantasy and avoid things perhaps, but were we in a more shadow expression of Pisces? It just, we had so much war. We had so many challenges during that time. I don't know if you have any comment on that.
Well, I think that every age will have its shadow and its light, its benefits and its difficulties. So it's hard to just classify it as one thing. Of course, it does pertain to the current consciousness on the planet, and we are much more conscious beings now. So it's hard to, give it a broad stroke, so to speak, but it's understanding that there was a lot around opening up to our energetic selves with Pisces. It's understanding more about our healing capabilities, understanding how we're energy beings, how we're all connected. And then as we move now into this Aquarian energy, we look for more examples of that. More examples of that come forth with people really stepping into their healer abilities, for example, their spiritual gifts, like things that I feel, if you were essentially born during the age of Pisces, you definitely came in with gifts to develop. And now as we move into the Aquarius age, it's about sharing those gifts. It's about going into your life with those gifts and connecting with other people. So, it's hard to kind of summarize it, but I feel like because of the increase in consciousness and what people have learned, through the centuries, that we've definitely grown as a human family, and hopefully some of that darkness was always a good teacher too.
Absolutely, yeah, that's a great way to look at it, Molly, because it's true. There was very light expressions of the Pisces, and then perhaps the more shadow expression of the Pisces, but it was absolutely transformational. So that is to me a Pisces energy there. And so I'm really excited about this Aquarian age, and I know that we're in the sign of Aquarius right now, and we've got the moon, the new moon in Aquarius coming up. So I love this Aquarian energy, and you said something in one of your recent podcasts that I just want to reference because it was so beautifully put, and you had said something to the effect of Aquarian energy is like stepping out of our humanness and further into our cosmic brilliance. And that is, I just want to highlight that because it really resonates with me, and I think with people at large. And it was just so beautifully said. And I'm wondering if you have anything you want to add to that, or some wisdom nuggets for how to best utilize this Aquarian energy that we're in.
Well, Aquarius is all about taking us further outside of our human experience or our human minds, and reminding ourselves to look beyond the here and now, and to look in energies at a quantum level, to look at our lives from a bigger vantage point. Aquarius is about, say, time travel and quantum energies and physics and things that we do that take humanity forward. And we're each a part of that. We are each a cosmic spark of energies that has formed this human body. And we come in with these gifts that we're detached from, that we don't realize. And then through the awakening process, through your studying, your learning, even just your curiosity, you understand more about what you're capable of. And I believe that everyone has capabilities that they maybe are here to develop and learn if they choose, and that it's something that really honors and amplifies their unique brilliance, their unique spark. So this Aquarian energy really brings that out in us. It's why we can feel like the oddball, or you can feel like the black sheep, or you can feel really different. Like, why am I the only one who's interested in, starseeds or interested in galactic things? It's like, well, you're ahead of your time. That's what we need. We need people who are moving things forward, and you're never alone with this. And right now, there's millions of people on the planet who are interested in these same things because they feel a familiarity with this energy or these terms or this information. So it's really an exciting time to be embracing our cosmic brilliance, because it's how we're also going to be connecting with even more of the same, I feel it as like a cosmic family and cosmic friends.
Yes, no, absolutely. And I love that it is about coming together at this time, even though, the Aquarian is like the individual, but yet the individual within the collective, and maintaining both of those energies. But I find that when we come together, we're really upgrading each other,
Yes.
Right? Isn't it?
Right.
It's so
I like how you put that. Absolutely.
Yeah, it seems like, as we commune and we come together and we share our energies, we then come away with more downloads and more just remembering, helping each other through this process and these upgrades. It's kind of the way that I see it and feel it.
Yeah, that's right. And it's one of the best functions of the internet. It's one of the best things about, the people you connect with, the people you meet, right? Like I get to meet you. Like, that's awesome that we can have this conversation because we found each other, or because we know that we have something in common through what we share online. So it is a gift right now that we have the technologies that support the soul tribes and the connections forming. And it's, of course, important to be discerning, always important to be discerning, but I feel like that's going to keep moving us forward too.
Yes, and what's great about astrology is, and especially what you do in helping people understand and navigate their own personal natal charts, is that it really puts the power in the individual's hand to put their own puzzle pieces together and inspire their own downloads and cosmic remembrance and understanding. And I really love that, because I know in the beginning, sometimes you can feel like you need some kind of a guru to show you how it's done. And really, I feel that's all inside of us. And that to me feels really empowering. Of course, there's always a place for teachers and guides, and they're such great assistants. But I don't know. I guess the point I'm trying to make is that we have this all inside of us. Everything you need is already available to you.
Yeah. And I find too that people who do look for a guru or someone else to guide them is pretty typical for beginning stages as they're developing confidence, learning information, bringing things in. And then typically someone starts to, take off the training wheels, so to speak, and they feel stronger in themselves. So it's sort of like every person or every book or everything that you come in contact with can serve a purpose in what you're learning and moving forward. But ultimately, none of us are meant to be followers of anyone. We're meant to be our own leaders and to trust our own energies. And so there could be red flags about not only the guru, but any codependence on somebody else for your growth or for your own spiritual knowledge. And it's usually a confidence building thing I've observed with clients and people I work with, is that it is confidence building. And then you keep going on your path, right? Like, you just keep moving forward, and you take what you need and you leave the rest, so to speak. And it's interesting too how I think that the guru energy is also part of that age of Pisces, where it was who am I devoted to, and who do I bow down to, and who outside of me is supreme. And this age of Aquarius, well, it comes back to the individual and comes back to your own identity and what you know is true for you. And so it removes the need to be a part of that guru construct, if you will.
Yes, no, absolutely. Very well said. I've always been curious about, okay, we know we've got these planets, and we know that somehow they have this effect on us, body, mind, spirit. And I'm wondering if you can speak to maybe more of the mechanics of why we are so affected by the placement of planets.
Yeah. No, it's at the heart of astrology, and it's something everybody wonders and tries to figure out mentally. And it's something that, again, you have to self-verify and test in your own life how it shows up, how the energies sync up. I think that there's a few different ways to look at it. It's that, yes, we are energetic beings. Yes, we feel things more than we know, and that we have higher levels of energy fields than perhaps we even realize at times. And so we're very much aware of other things affecting us and coming into our lives. I find that with astrology, people are aware of, say, where the moon is and the new moon, and yet that's just one of the lunar bodies out there, and our bodies, of course, being 70% water, and the tides of the ocean rising and falling, with the full moons, with the new moon. So water, just the gravity effect of water and the moon have been known through science for a long time. Well, astrology provides a different meaning around that. It's the energetic meaning that shows you what energies are coming up because of how the cosmos is always communicating with us. And I find that if it's like you have to give yourself these tests around it, because it's so natural to be a skeptic about astrology. There's bad astrology out there. There's very basic astrology out there. Most people come to it through their sun sign. My son is in Taurus, my son is in Leo, and they read their column in the magazine or online, and that's how most people follow it. But it goes into so many more layers of all these other planets and their energies that are affecting the Earth, and that's because of how the Earth is affected by all the other planets in our solar system. So it's not something to only understand in your mind. It's an energetics, and it's the energies of all these planets working with the Earth and working with the sun and working with each other. And at the time that you were born, there was a certain energy literally like in the air, if you want to think of it that way, that is the energetic imprint. And it's from there that a lot of these synchronicities show up and that show your energy throughout life. So I know it's a lot of people wonder, well, how does astrology work? And there isn't one way to only understand it, because it's the cycles of our lives. It's like the way that I think of astrology is how it's been tested and tested and tested for centuries by thousands of people. And it's this knowledge base of understanding around what it means with Saturn transit, of what it means with Mercury retrograde. And so it's like this ongoing database, if you will, of what has been observed and experienced that has proven how these energies work. So I hope that helps a bit, because I know that's usually what people are trying to get to the heart of more. But it's something that once you understand all these different cycles and energies, and you understand who you are astrologically, you see how things start to sync up in a way that's pretty amazing, and it can literally blow your mind. Because I've been a skeptic. I've totally been a skeptic, even as I practiced astrology. I'm like, oh, this won't happen, or oh, we'll see. I don't know about that, because there's things that I don't want to happen. or you hope it doesn't. But it's a great tool for understanding your own choices, your own power, and how to move through your life with a greater sense of awareness.
No, that definitely helps. And that's sort of what I intuited, with, again, our physical vessels and possessing such a certain amount of water that, of course, we react to these energetic pulls rather. And then also the fact that we are energetic beings. So, of course, anything, in and around us is going to have an effect, vice versa. So as above, so below. I mean, that really makes, that does make sense. Thank you so much for your take on that, because I feel it's like a burning question. You start to get into it and you're like, this is really cool. But then you're also like, wait, why? Wait, how does this all, this all work?
Another part of it too is, has been studied through something called human design system, which is kind of like another shoot off, if you will, of really getting into your energy and diving into who you are as an energetic being. And the human design system is based on how neutrinos from the sun come in and leave information and affect us. And neutrinos have a really infinitely small amount of mass, and they pass through us as a stream of information. And then within each of us exist these particles that connect us to the stream, and at the moment of birth, that's how it's imprinted. So neutrinos would be more of the scientific understanding of energies. And this is something that's been studied and has people have been awarded Nobel Prizes for the discovery of neutrinos and working with it. So I feel like what's interesting about astrology too is how it's kind of ahead of science. It's kind of ahead of how we understand how things work in some ways of our being. So part of astrology, which is an Aquarian topic, is knowing how it takes us into these new places to keep expanding and to keep learning more.
Spot on. I love that about neutrinos. I can't wait to go down that rabbit hole, because I am familiar with the human design, but it always escaped me. How do people read this? How do you know this? I could say I'm a generator, which I think most people are. I don't know what yours is, but I'd be curious to know.
I'm a projector.
You're a projector. Oh, aren't those rarer?
Yeah, those things. Yeah, those things are.
No, it's so funny. I just went over this with a friend of mine, and he was a projector. We got so excited because no one was a projector yet that I've met. So.
Oh, awesome. Yes. Well, it's fascinating to go down that rabbit hole, definitely, of human design, because it's yet another layer of our energy systems, of our gifts, of what we can work with, and how to keep advancing ourselves based on these really cool systems.
Yes. So I wanted to ask you about, I loved your conversation with, I think it was Starseed Academy.
Yeah.
And I'm super into the galactic thing, and I'm wondering if you've seen any patterns or indications of how to perhaps see some of your galactic heritage through an astrological chart, a natal chart?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's some they're called star markings, and they're planets and points that are in the later degrees of every astrological sign, usually 25, 26, 27, 28 degrees. And in each of these astrological points, it usually signifies energies that are from your home energy, or a home planet, or just a sense of being from another place and feeling quite cosmic. And so this has been studied by one of my mentors, Lavendar, over at Starseed Radio Hotline. And it's been something that she's observed through eons of studies that have been done on the planet, starseed experiments, different Pleiadian experiments, different things that have been done with the bloodlines. There's a lot to this, of course. And it's another clue to the cosmic puzzle. It's another clue to humanity and to the origins of humanity, and where we're from as energy beings and where we have been. There's a sense of the bloodlines being experiments. We know about cloning, of course, and it's kind of like how the human experiment on this planet has been something that's been definitely, kept under wraps. You wouldn't read about it on any kind of major or any mainstream media source, but it's understanding how this is a part of the planet, and your astrology chart can give clues to that because of, again, that energy imprint about when you were born and what you came in with.
Wow. Okay. I love this. I'm excited already. So
very cool. Very
yeah. So just to kind of make sure I understood that, it sounded like if you were to look at your chart and there's something that is 25, 26, 27, 28, one of those later degrees of a certain sign, then that could be an indication of galactic heritage.
Yep.
Okay. Affiliated with that sign that it's in, or with the house that it's in, or?
It's with the astrological sign, and it depends on, I don't even know all. So Lavendar is the one who holds these understandings, and she's teaching people what they mean. So, for example, I know that these degrees between 25 and 28 degrees of Taurus and Scorpio are associated with the Pleiades. There's other energies that are associated with like King Arthur energies, with Mary Magdalene, with other planets, Arcturian, Atlantis. So it's quite deep, and I would love to know more personally, and I hope to learn more, but I always just refer people to Lavendar for a reading or a session, because she goes into what this is about and what it means based on her research and studies. So it's really fascinating stuff. If anyone out there is interested in all this stuff, it's pretty cool. It's another rabbit hole. There's so many rabbit holes.
There is. I love that, though. It's like the 5D astrology coming online. It's so cool. Oh my gosh. Would you mind sharing if you know any of your galactic heritage?
Oh yeah, no, I have some of the Pleiadian markings, and also some of the King Arthur, which is like where you understand what truth is. And what truth means. So a lot of starseeds, a lot of people have those energy signatures, and you can feel it. It's like a feeling. It's like, oh my gosh, that's why I've always read these books, or why I've always resonated with certain myths or stories, because a part of you lived it, or a part of you has experienced it. It's in your DNA. So yeah, it's pretty cool to make these connections, because it just helps things click.
Yes. Oh, that is so exciting. I can like feel people excited about this already who are listening, because I'd like to say I think we have a pretty galactic crew here. And as we zoom out further and further, for me, it helps make the 3D bumps and humps look like, nothing.
Right. No, it helps. It really helps with the bigger picture, the bigger perspective, and just where your energy can go, the choices you can make around what you need in life, what matters, what you want to do here for your mission, and for how you want to spend your energy. All of that is so important right now, more than ever, really, as the world changes in huge ways as we go forward into the next decade. It's really important to have that bigger perspective.
Yeah. Now I'm wondering if there's anything coming up this year that looks unusually epic, because I do have a bit of an agenda with this question, or a curiosity, I should say. I feel like you're probably familiar with Doreen Virtue. Not Doreen. She's been on a lot of people's minds lately, Doreen. But I meant
has definitely been interesting.
Yeah, I know. It's a wild ride, but I love her and I honor her, and I have some of her decks, and I just bless her so much. But it was Dolores Cannon. That's who I meant. A different D.
A different D.
Exactly. And then upon that, there was Alison Coe, and I don't know if you listened to her at all, but she was also someone who had studied the quantum healing hypnosis, and most recently had tons of cases. Different people didn't know each other, and as she would regress them or take them under this hypnotic state, they would start talking about this great event that was supposed to be coming here soon, and supposed to be sort of like a beautiful high frequency mist that falls upon the planet, and people, it really activates the DNA, and it's like it sort of marks some new grand timeline. And a friend of mine who's an astrologer, he mentioned like May 2019 having some, I don't know, getting intuition that would happen in May 2019. So that's why I'm curious if you've seen anything this coming year that looks like, wow, buckle up, something powerful could happen here.
Mm-hmm. So what I've received about that is that it's a slow-moving process because it allows our bodies to integrate the energies better. Otherwise, it'd be such an overload. It'd be like too much. So it's already been happening. It's already been in effect for so many people, whether they're conscious of it or not. And it's like there's this upgrade that's happening that's helping people understand more about what matters, what they're here to do, what the bigger picture is, what their contributions are. So definitely an activation. And typically activations will happen with the eclipses because of how eclipse season is even more potent and electrifying. So we just had that in January. And then we'll have eclipses again in July. And we also have throughout the summer, or even throughout this year, we have this interesting energy between Neptune in Pisces and Saturn in Capricorn, making what's called a sextile. And this is a rare configuration because of how these planets move at different speeds, different cycles. And so when they connect, it's that Neptune Pisces energies coming through and being grounded through the earth sign of Capricorn, which is our bodies, our physical structures, our spine and our teeth and our bones, anything that is in our physical bodies. So I feel like astrologically, that's the connection with these energetic downloads and upgrades that are reworking us at a cellular level, and that's something that's going to continue throughout the year. And so, of course, some people might all feel certain waves of it and feel it at certain times, but the way that I've observed things happening is that it happens in a way that when people are ready, when people want it, then it really can come through powerfully. And that there's people who are really being activated this year too. So it's pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty awesome too, how these are the conversations that are being had, like this is what people want to know about. I love it. It's so exciting.
I know. I've even noticed that since 2019 started, I will have these moments of just pure bliss that seems to wash over like my entire energy field, and I'm just blissed out. I don't know if you've had any experiences that speaks to that, but I just like you said, it really is like this high frequency coming in, and if you're ready to ground that and integrate that, it's so available to you.
Yes. Yeah. And it's needed too. I mean, I feel like there's a sense of like your soul being ready, your energy being ready. Like a part of you is really wanting it because it supports the next steps. It also supports the energies of the next decade and the big shifts that are going to be happening for people and what's unfolding. And I feel like that is part of where we need to go, and that people want to step into that. Everything, of course, free will and your choice is paramount, but there's a sense that this lifetime, this ability to be present on the planet is key for a lot of things, and that there's a desire to participate, like even at a soul level, to be a part of where things happen and where things go. And I think that's what people are also feeling too, is that they want to step into that contribution. So it's pretty exciting, that this is where things are shifting. It's pretty big. It can boggle the mind. It can be a lot at once, but yeah, it's time, it's time. That's also what astrology shows us, is the timing of everything.
That's so accurate, because I was intuiting certain things personally, and then I looked to astrology, and that confirmation came from astrology. So it's, again, just so fascinating. And I really encourage everyone listening to check out your work, because you're really like gosh, I don't know. I know you have a young son, but I don't know if that has helped. But man, I feel like you're like holding my hand and you're like, big sister, like I can walk you through this no matter how complicated it looks. So
well, good, because it helps to put some pieces together and just to make it, relatable or real or tangible. I think that offers a lot of value, because it can be a lot, to have to figure out the language of astrology. It is a language. It is, there's a lot to it. There's a lot of layers to it, but the people who really want to learn more and to learn about themselves will understand that there's more to gain. There's a lot to gain from it too.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so impressed with all that you have going on. You've authored 12 or more books at this point. You offer astrology classes. You blog regularly. You've got podcasts. I mean, you're just like, it really astounds me. You're such a one-woman show that I'm like, I would love for you to speak more to the work that you're doing, and perhaps any wisdom you can impart with other people who are wanting to step greater into their service work, and just anything along those lines. Because Molly, I really do feel you're such a great model for the future of, more conscious business and business that is related to service and empowerment and all of these beautiful things.
Oh, well, that's so sweet. Thank you. I guess to be fair, I have been doing this for, I think 8 years now. So it's kind of like juggling, and I've like brought in different things as I juggle. I started with doing the blog, and then I added in my books, and I added in my classes. So it's like been this accumulation of stuff that I offer through the years. And so I have a introductory astrology course that can really help people learn their chart, and that's been really great for people to do it on their own timeline. And I always, of course, get excited about that, because it helps you put together the pieces of your world. So the astrology courses are really popular right now, because people really want to understand who they are and what they're here to do. And then, I've done various books, including some book projects that I've been in charge of or have contributed to, just because being an author and being a writer is something I've been doing for the past, since 2009. So it's been really fun to just discover this way to give people messages, to give them inspiration, to help them remember who they are, to remember the bigger picture of their lives, and hopefully, tell some good stories along the way. And then I also like to support healers, anyone who's also a spiritual professional, spiritual author, give them help in building up their business, because of what I've learned about working online, having an online platform, what you have to keep in mind, what you need to know, what's worth your time and what's not. There's a lot to figure out. So I offer that support over at mollymccord.online for people who want some guidance and tips on growing their own online business too. So I'm just grateful that I can help people and connect them with what they might need wherever they are.
Yeah. What does it mean when there is a chart and there's emptiness in a house?
It just means that that means there's no natal planets there, but that house is still experienced through transiting planets and through the moon every month. And that house also has what's called a house rulership. So there's still energy in that life, but it's just not a focal point. It isn't maybe where you put a lot of your energy in a lifetime. You would follow where the planets are in those houses for more of where your energy comes alive. But we have energy all throughout our chart, in all 12 houses. It just shows up in different ways and at different times through the different, transiting planets.
And I also saw that you did some twin flame work with the astrology, and I found that really interesting because, the twin flame thing is, that's a heavy little topic. And I don't know if everyone has one, but if there's anything you could just mention briefly about that, because I just found that to be another really interesting caveat of your work.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I find that has been a really big part of people's healing right now, and understanding these deeper connections that can be hard to put into words, but can be very deeply emotional, intuitive, spiritual, energetic, and that it makes up a lot of their healing path, a lot of what they're coming to learn about themselves and what it means to give love, to receive love, unconditional love, as well as healing some really deep pain. So it's definitely something that many people have been able to relate to and understand. And I'm just glad I can offer something based on my own experiences with that helps people put together some pieces and hopefully see it differently, as well as know that they're not alone.
Do you find that everyone has a twin flame? No, okay.
I don't. I know that it's popular and it's kind of been trending for a while, but it's an energy of learning unconditional love through another person. It's a vibration, it's a frequency that you hold through lifetimes of learning and understanding. And I find that it's something that you usually have the soul contract in place that supports you with that learning experience. But again, it's also honoring your own energy and your own needs and your own yourself as an independent being. So we have many people that we're energetically connected to, soulmates and kindred spirits, and I mean there's all these different names and titles to give different energy fields. So the twin flame is something that can be rare and very intense, and I find that maybe some people think of it as one definition and some people think of it as another, and I've just decided I'm not going to tell people they're wrong. It's what you understand for yourself, but as long as you're healing, as long as you're doing your work and you're understanding about yourself more, then that's what matters the most, regardless of the title.
I think it's so awesome that you offer that. And I'm wondering if when you see a twin flame relationship, do you see like direct astrological indications to validate that?
Yeah, you do. Actually, you can see through different parts of the two charts what connects. And it isn't just one thing. It can be a few different combinations and formulas. Typically, there can be a connection between the Chiron energies, because Chiron is what we're healing. It's the deeper soul wound. And so Chiron can be an indicator of that. The moon or the Venus or Mars can be indicators. The 4th house, the 8th house, the 12th house, like there can be many ways it shows up, as well as through that person's consciousness, like where they're at with that, as well as where they're at with their own spiritual path and growth. So there's all these different ways that it shows up. And I've also found, there's very different places that people are with that process and with that learning. So it can't all be clumped together.
We're going to switch gears just a little bit now, and each episode I pull a card from a deck that inspires me, and this week it is Universal Wisdom Oracle Cards by Tony Carmine Salerno, and it's really a stunning deck, and I find it to be so accurate. So for this episode, the message for the collective was butterfly wings. A profound transformation is taking place in your life due to the fact that you have managed to reconcile issues from your past. As a result, your true nature is now beginning to emerge. Through this card, you are being encouraged to continue your spiritual journey. Continue to be yourself, for you have so much to offer the world just by being you. So that's just a little blurb from it.
Okay.
But I felt like it's really fitting again with where we are, sort of leaving that Pisces energy and stepping more into the Aquarian cosmic brilliance, as I love the way you put that. So just to close things up here, I would love to just hear a little bit more about what excites you in this coming year, or anything that I know we've got a lot of planets that are direct right now. Or actually all the planets, right? All the planets are direct.
Oh, well, I just think it's going to be a year of clarity. Around where some people want to go with their soul work, their soul mission, how they want to share their gifts and put themselves out there. I feel there's a strengthening with that. I feel like there's a sense of, I really want this. I really have to go for this. And I feel like that's going to be something that a number of people feel shift in them because of this Saturn in Capricorn energy, again, sextiling Neptune in Pisces, that really can make the dream real and put the pieces together and show you what needs to be done, what has to be completed, where you need to go with it. So I feel like this is exciting for where each of us is ready to contribute more and to own our gifts and to own what we can offer and how we can support each other. I think it's also a good year to develop working with people in a personal capacity. It's like how we help each other person to person is going to be key. And, that's like this podcast, of course, is a great example of that, with people listening and taking in the information. Anything that can support people on their healing journey is also big right now. We have Jupiter in Sagittarius, which is about learning and taking in more information, staying open to the world, staying open to the new possibilities and what you're here to learn. It emphasizes how we can expand our minds and expand what we, how we see the world. And I feel at a personal level, though, it's allowing yourself to really believe in who you are, to really believe that you're capable of more than perhaps you've allowed yourself to believe. So we check in with our belief systems to say, well, what does matter to me right now? And do my belief systems energetically support what I want? Do I believe I can manifest the professional life of my dreams? Do I believe I can really experience abundance and receive abundance? Do I believe I can have the family life I want? So it's looking at how our beliefs are ready to grow with us and ready to step into this new paradigm that I feel is waiting for us in some regards, because it's how we each do that, then we each become more alive. I feel it as electrical, like we each become more like pulsing at a higher frequency, and that helps support each other on our paths. I feel like there's a lot of good stuff that is happening in the higher realms as the 3D structures shift and collapse and change. So stay up in these places in yourself that are there, that are waiting for you. I mean, that's what it's kind of like the push comes to shove of like, you've got to go higher, you've got to go into the truth of who you are. And that's where a lot more is waiting for you.
It's so exciting. I know we're going to be seeing a lot of changes in, governmental systems, and it's going to be pretty profound. Molly, I just want to thank you again for your time today. It's been so lovely speaking with you.
Likewise, Shauna. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. And I encourage everyone to check out Molly McCord. Was it mollymccord.net? Was that?
It's mollymccord.online.
Sorry.
Yeah, is the website for healers and entrepreneurs. And then my other website is consciouscoolchic.com. And that is where the spiritual teachings and books and other information are located too.
Yeah, so, that's the one that I usually party on, the Conscious Cool Chic. That's like my go-to. And I also recommend people follow you on Instagram at MoxieMolly11.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to connect with you and your audience and everybody. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in to today's episode of Heart on Radio. Again, this is Shauna Ava, and it is an absolute honor to share this space with you.